Coyle. All right, fans, here we go. The WBA Welterweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He enters the ring wearing black and green trunks and fighting out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 10 stone, 7 pounds, 147 pounds. His record includes 29 wins, 4 losses, with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Welcome the challenger, ranked the number 9 contender by the WBA, known as the Bullman, Donovan Boucher.
There is Donovan Boucher, the challenger, rated number 9, just scraping into the top 10 by the WBA.
His opponent across the ring, the defending champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing green trunks with gold trim, originally from Ciudad Bolivar, Venezuela, now hailing from Belfast, Northern Ireland. His weight, the same at 10 stone, 7 pounds, or 147 pounds. His unblemished record includes 29 wins, no losses, 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the undefeated WBA welterweight champion of the world, Crisanto, Espana.
So there's Claus himself, Crisanto Espana, from Venezuela originally. Boxing outdoors, Old Trafford, the home of Manchester United in Manchester, of course. Referee for this one, John Coyle from Wolverhampton. 12 rounds. And Donovan Boucher has been the scourge of British welterweights over the last couple of years, with one exception, that Eamon Loughran, who ripped away his Commonwealth Championship. But Boucher's had 1 win since then. So, Crisanto Espana, who can forget the way he ripped the WBA Championship away when he boxed Meldrick Taylor in October of last year. Superb win. 8 rounds. And Espana was in tremendous form that night. But in his first defence, he was a little bit off colour, I felt. It must have taken a lot of motivation to get up for the Meldrick Taylor fight, but then came down when he fought Rodolfo Aguilar and had to settle for a points win. It was hard work too. Boucher, he's fit and strong, although 32 years of age now, as opposed to Espana's 28. So you've got to say that Espana, with those very long arms, has got the edge here in this WBA welterweight title clash. And this is the first World Championship fight for the Canadian. And he's had 33 fights. So Claus out to maul the Canadian. And lots of people expect Espana to get this one over with rather quickly. I'm not too sure myself. Crisanto Espana now based in Belfast under the camp of Barney Eastwood. Nice right there from Crisanto, whose brother Ernesto was a former lightweight champion a decade ago. Halfway through the first round, this Matchroom promotion in association with Don King. And I'm delighted that the promoters have got this evening together. Both men boxing for openings in these early stages of the first round. We're inside the final minute now. And Boucher doesn't look at all intimidated by Espana. Don't forget, he's unbeaten in 29 professional contests, and 25 of his wins coming inside the limit. Good right again from Espana. A crowd of over 40,000 here at Old Trafford, and that's a pretty fair first round. One I'll give to the champion, Espana. He tended to dominate things from long range there. And trained by, or assisted anyway, by Bernardo Checa in the corner there. And in case you're wondering who the other welterweight champions are, got Gert Bo Jacobsen, the Dane, is the WBO title holder. Pernell Whitaker, of course, is WBC champion. And Felix Trinidad reigns for the IBF. And Espana has got a very tough match on his hands. His next defense is against Ike Quarty, very hard punching Ghanaian. But he's got to get through Boucher first. I must admit, that's not a prospect that many welterweights would cherish, facing Quarty, destructive puncher. Round 2 then of a scheduled 12 for Crisanto Espana's WBA welterweight title. And Espana, a former WBC international champion. Got to wins over 3 British fighters that might be worth mentioning. He outpointed Dave Pierre in Belfast. And the reigning British champion, welterweight champion, Del Bryan, was outscored at the Albert Hall. Good performance that by Bryan. And Lloyd Christie, the former light welterweight champion of Great Britain, was stopped on a cut in Liverpool. And of course, Boucher, known for wreaking havoc among British welterweights. He outscored Gary Jacobs to win the Commonwealth Championship back in 1989. Defended against Kirkland Lang, knocked Kirkland out in 9. Mickey Hughes was outscored. Robert Wright was stopped in 11 tremendous rounds. And as I say, last time he put his title on the line was against the Irishman, Eamon Loughran. And he was stopped, rather surprisingly, in 3 rounds. Boucher looking confident here. Clash of heads there. Past halfway in the second. Espana taking the first, I thought. And Boucher staying tight, taking a few of those punches on his gloves. And this is a tremendous night for British boxing. Although neither of these men, of course, are from our shores. Although Espana based in Belfast. And Espana, a big wide puncher. Boucher much more compact. And tagged by a right there from Espana, just as he pulled away. So a standing count then for Donovan Boucher. Just a clipping right almost. Well, there wasn't a great deal in the round up until that point, but now I think Espana's going to get this one by probably the 10-8 margin. Well, some experts were predicting that Boucher, possibly at the age of 32, might just have come to the end of his tether. So, a round then, another one for Crisanto Espana, the second, and a knockdown to ease his cause in this first defence of his WBA championship. But Boucher very gamely jumped up straight away there, took the standing count. He's been stopped a couple of times, Boucher. in 7 rounds by Glenwood Brown in 89. And of course by Eamon Loughran. This WBA title defense by Crisanto Espana just had Boucher on the floor in the last 30 seconds of round 2 from a fairly innocuous looking right hand. And Boucher, I must admit, not looking the force he was against some of Britain's welterweights. Well, Espana now trying to put some real meat behind those punches. So he's more economical with his shots, but trying to make them tell now. Feeling obviously he can get rid of Boucher. Another right hand like the one that caught Boucher at the end of the 2nd round would not go amiss at this point. And I wouldn't have expected Espana to be after a demanding defence here. Not that any fighter is, of course. With that match against Ike Quarty looming on the horizon. Nice left-hand work from the Venezuelan. A Venezuelan Irishman. And this is a good quality chief supporting contest. Or should I say double header. And again the right hand from Espana. And Boucher not looking too comfortable at this point. And Espana, a very wiry figure. I think that nickname of Claws just about suits him perfectly. And again, looking for the right. But he doesn't want to get too right-hand happy here. Boucher, of course, will start taking evasive action. So a bit of variation from Espana required. Possibly follow the missed right or even a landed right with a left hook, which he's not doing at this point. But nice left-hand work from Espana now. Well, a nice right there from Boucher. And Espana boxing very sensibly. He's not tearing away, not going wild, just dismantling Boucher round by round. I get the idea. Another one for him, so he hasn't done a thing wrong yet with 3 rounds gone. And punches like this from long range surely out to demoralise Boucher. And that left hand sticking into Boucher's face like it was attached by a piece of elastic. And referee John Coyle has not had to say a word to either man yet. Bit of consternation there on the face of the Canadian.
10 seconds, corners.
So round 4.
Seconds out, round 4.
And there's a wonderful view of this tremendous crowd in Old Trafford. Not a particularly warm night. And already the crowd are chanting the names of Ben and Eubank. That's to come, of course. And Donovan Boucher's problem here, with that one exception, which I was just about to mention, the chance of landing a big one on the whiskers with the right hand, his problem is actually getting in. He's being kept out very firmly by Espana so far, with that nice long straight left. Don't like to call it a jab, because as you can see, it's a very definitive punch. And the jab just indicates a flick to me, but unfortunately jab is part of the language now in boxing. Well, I think tactically now Boucher has decided, well, there's no way I'm going to outbox this man. I can't outbusy him either, because I can't land that often. So it's a case of trying the big one. And Loughran beat Boucher with body punches. And Espana is a good body puncher, but concentrating mainly at the moment on the head. Boucher still looking compact, fairly tight. And Espana, a very solid fighter. Chopping right hand, two left to the body, they hurt. Boucher there tucked his right elbow in to try and protect himself. And Boucher's work rate in previous fights has been quite tremendous, principally because the target was there to hit and he just kept steaming in. But different case here against Espana. Another good round there for the Venezuelan champion. Chance to see, hopefully, those body punches. Well, there was one tried around the side, and a fighter can only absorb so many body punches as a fight wears on. Bit of blood there in the mouth of Espana, so he's not escaped unscathed. Boucher a pro now since 1985. Espana a year earlier. Didn't box at all in 1986, and only one fight in 1985.
Seconds out, round 5.
And this is the second fight of the year for Crisanto Espana. Of course, you don't expect to fight that often when you're champion. Round 5, this. And Boucher's cornerman very vociferous. And referee John Coyle might just warn him to be quiet. And it's not often you see a class act like Boucher getting dominated like this. And a thick air of expectancy amongst this crowd for the two protagonists to come. Of course, nice right again from Espana. I think the only thing going against the Spaniard at this point is if he were to get complacent and allow Boucher to land a thundering right on his chin. Not that Boucher is a devastating one-punch hitter. It's normally his incredible work rate and variety of punch that eventually brings him his wins. Well, now Boucher looking a bit gun-shy in this 5th round. It's a good performance by Espana. And there's the bell to end round 5, and once again a round for the champion. Hard so far to give anything against him, or even a share of one to Boucher. And don't forget, of course, that Boucher on the floor in the 2nd round. That's a round which Espana will have won by 10 points to 8. Bit of replay here with Boucher trapped on the ropes. We're going to take a short break. Round 6 then of this WBA Welterweight Championship between Crisanto Espana, the champion, and his challenger from Canada, Donovan Boucher. In case you've just joined us, Espana hasn't dropped any of the first 5, and Boucher on the floor from a right hand in the last 30 seconds of round 2. And again, that clipping right hand from Espana. It didn't look a tremendous punch to put Boucher over. Well, there are signs now with Boucher that he might just be getting a bit fed up with this leathering. He protects his body, gets hit in the head, protects his head, gets hit to the body. Tries to defend against a straight left and gets hit with a hook or a right cross. So difficult times ahead for Boucher. And Espana growing in confidence now. Well, takes a right hand though from Boucher. To say, I think that's his one chance, and a couple more get through. Espana, tall, rangy fighter. You've got to wonder if he's having trouble with weight. But this is probably the best spell so far that Boucher's had in this fight. So I think the only danger to Espana is getting tagged with the right hand on the chin. After that spell by Boucher, Espana back in command now. Possibly a touch of overconfidence by Espana when he gets caught by those couple of right hands from the challenger. And Espana doesn't really concentrate on one punch landing on a particular mark. He busies himself, and consequently a lot of those shots are actually glancing blows. He takes another right. Doesn't really focus himself on the punch, I don't think. But there again, even the ones that half hit still hurt. One slightly low there for Boucher, and again. So another round then for Crisanto Espana, the champion, although probably the best spell of action from Boucher just before the halfway point in that 6th round. Failed to connect with the follow-up. Nice defensive work from Espana. And Espana still spitting blood. Timekeeper Colin Roberts signifies there's 6 rounds to go in this one. The 7th coming up the halfway point.
Round 7.
And the ground staff have been working exceptionally hard to get this pitch covered for this boxing action from Old Trafford. So the halfway point, and Boucher needing every one of these on my card. Won by 2 points for a draw. So fighting a lost cause at the moment. The problem there with Boucher's left eye, might have just got a thumb or possibly a bit of grease. Yes, it's slightly swollen. Nice right again, and well, the legs of Espana there just did a little bit of a jig. And that's the way to get back on top. Stick out that left hand. Oh, nice right again from Boucher. And I must admit, it'd be something of a major surprise if Boucher were to win this one. But you never do know in this game. Anything can happen. Nice uppercut. That will put him back in his place. Oh, good shot. Nice right hand. Boucher hurt by that one. And now Espana pouring home the punches. Can he find the finisher? Just over a minute to go in round 7. And I apologise if you're having difficulty with the picture and sound. So inside the final minute then, looks like Boucher's survived that onslaught, but more to come. Oh, a lovely left hand. Down goes Donovan Boucher for the 2nd time in this fight. Once again, bounces straight up again. John Coyle giving the standing count. So 30 seconds to go. Can Crisanto Espana find the finishing punch? So a right hand had him down in the 2nd, a left hook in the 7th. Cagey old pro though. 33 fights behind him. And Espana still looking for that finisher. Don't forget the count would continue if a man were to go down at the end of the round, with the exception, of course, of the final round. And that's a good round again for Espana, although, once again, some good moments from Boucher in that one. So I'm not too sure that that's an overwhelming 10-8 round for Espana. So 10-9 on my card. But still, he hasn't lost one. I understand you experienced some problems with sound and picture in that 7th round. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. And there's the left hand. Just brought up rather sneakily by Espana. I must admit, they've not looked crushing blows that have had the Canadian on the floor. Just well placed, and that might just be the problem. I said that Espana wasn't particularly focused when he threw his punches, so when he has done, and they've really counted, Boucher's hit the canvas. So let's see if he can this time measure his mark. Round 8. And it's not been a particularly demanding fight so far for the Venezuelan champion. And I must admit, I prefer to see Espana dip those knees and crash in the right to the body a few more times. because at the moment Boucher's hands are still nice and high. And if Espana starts working to the body, of course Boucher's going to have to drop those hands somewhat to protect himself and leave the head vulnerable. Got through the right though, Boucher. Well, we're well past the point, in my opinion anyway, where Boucher can win this one on points. Well, it looks like Boucher has left it a bit late to try and roll away from those long left hands. But it's another sign of how much he's feeling them. Oh, and a big right miss there from Boucher. That might have meant something had it landed. And it must be said that should Espana win this and retain his title, his next defence against Ike Quarty is going to be a very demanding match. Quarty, a very dangerous puncher. I think it's fair to say that Boucher is a respectable rather than devastating puncher. And looks just to be over the hill at this point. Ten to go then in the 8th round. 2 knockdowns so far, both scored by Espana. So that's another round then for Crisanto, the champion. So his 80 points are still well intact on my card. And I've got Boucher 9 points adrift. Coming in to the 9th. Bit of replay there, and Boucher having a few problems with that left eye. He keeps pawing at it. Just wondering if he has had a thumb or just that bit of grease. Well, we'll find out as we come back after this break. Up. And Crisanto Espana clearly taken the first 8. And this is a game effort by Boucher. It's a fight he simply cannot win unless he finds an almighty right hand. He's got through a couple of times and he's shaken Espana once or twice. There's another one. And Espana not getting too ambitious in this. He knows the reputation of Boucher, or at least the reputation he did have a couple of fights ago. And it'd be something of a result, I think, for Boucher if he can last the distance here. And looks like that's his main aim at the moment. Chuck the occasional right hand when the opportunity presents itself. But other than that, not trying to get too ambitious and force Espana into heavy retaliation. Almost, I won't try too hard if you don't. Attitude from Boucher. It looks like Espana is reciprocating by saying, OK, fine, well, you don't try and get too flash, and I won't. And these rounds absolutely zipping by. One thing's for sure, though, in boxing, nothing can ever be taken for granted. Nice right. And a bit too late, possibly, for Espana to follow up in this 9th round. Boucher rattled. And again. But looks like he's going to get through this. Yep, but another round once again for the champion. So, Crisanto Espana on my card, 10 points in front at 90 points to 80 with 3 rounds to go. And that one almost unhinged. Boucher. And there's the Espana corner. They must be feeling pretty confident at this point.
Round 10.
So into the 10th. 3 to go. And nothing short of a miracle is going to save this one for Boucher. Looks like Espana is on his way to making his first successful defence of his WBA title. And what an interesting match that would be with Pernell Whitaker, the WBC champion, who of course is quite a bit smaller than Espana, but every bit as capable. Also, the tearaway Dane, Gert Bo Jakobsen, might provide a few fireworks. And the IBF champion, Felix Trinidad, big puncher, strong man. That would be interesting too. And now Boucher looking thoroughly demoralised, once again on the floor. That time more of a slip, I think.
5, 6, 7.
Standing count though, that's the 3rd one he's taken. Oh, that's a good shot. Knees of Boucher buckled then. Well, we could see a finish yet by Espana. Pouring in the shots, and John Coyle, quite rightly, yeah, I think that's about right, comes in to rescue Donovan Boucher in round 10. And a good win there by by Crisanto, to retain his WBA welterweight championship in good style. Very competent, almost surgical precision there by Espana. But as I say, I'd like to see him focus the impact of those punches just a wee bit more. But a good effort from Boucher. He was never going to win that one, but hit it most of the way. And there's Barney Eastwood, the manager, looking delighted. So, that very dangerous match against the Ghanaian Ike Quartey is still intact and around the corner. And Quartey these days, of course, boxing in France. And that's a place that Mr. Eastwood is very familiar with. And also knows that's where they can earn some big money. And here's the finish. Yes, John Coyle timed that just about perfectly, as of course he always does. Boucher tottered from one punch. Espana followed up, drove him across the ropes, and not throwing any back. And, well, the only one he did throw back caught John Coyle under the armpit. So once again, the finish from a different angle this time. And I think you'll agree that that's pretty justified. And there's our joint promoter, Don King, in association, of course, with Matchroom Boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 2 minutes, 31 seconds.
And if you're wondering who the gentleman on the left with the glasses is at the top of your screen, that's Mr. Nipper Reed, the man who busted the great train robbers.
The winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and still the WBA welterweight champion of the world, Crisanto claws Espana.
So Crisanto claws his way to victory in 10 rounds over a game but thoroughly outgunned challenger from Canada, from Toronto.